What's up, guys? We are live and in color. Okay, live in color. I think that was like a 1990s thing. Or was that in living color? Whatever, doesn't matter. Um, what's up, guys? It is Wednesday, September 12th, and big news for today for the Fever is he's going on air tonight. The radio. I put the link in my profile. Between 6 and 7, I'm going to talk fantasy sports with a couple guys from the radio station. Just do a couple things that I like. Hopefully I'm not nervous and don't stutter and make myself look ridiculous. But you know what? I'm looking forward to it. See what happens. I've never done it before. I've also never done these YouTube videos, but eh, I think we do okay here. Um, last night's FanDuel was actually I thought it was pretty well. I mean, it was a very low scoring night. A lot of players didn't produce like they're supposed to. Not a shocker. It's fantasy. Pitchers, we're seeing a lot of pitchers going 1, 2, 3 innings, if that. So it's little things like that we have to really worry about when we pick our pitcher now. I saw Boston, clinch the playoff spot. So, I know they have to still play for home field advantage and stuff like that. But sooner or later, they're going to put their scrubs in. Sale, I think, pitched 1 inning yesterday. Things like that. So I think, these are little things that we're going to have to start worrying about. Resting players. This is the time where, they rest players. They sit and so we have to understand who's in the lineup, who's not in the lineup. MLB's gets kind of difficult here. It's not the greatest, but we love it. We got to go till the end, right? And then NFL week 2 starting up tomorrow. There's a lot of good picks, a lot of value picks, stuff that we will talk about later. I thought we would just basically go through the 2 slates today. We have an early only slate and we have a main slate. So let's try to go through there and figure out a little bit of what we see today. Dodgers Cincy, we're gonna get right up into it. Dodgers Cincy, Stripling versus Discalfano. Guess I should start learning their names, huh? Not a bad pitching matchup. I think Stripling's coming off of an injury, isn't he? He's been hurt, right? Yeah, he had a back injury. So definitely not somebody who I'm going to target today. If he was fully healthy, I think I'd be all over him. But since he's coming back from an injury and probably we don't know how many innings he's going to pitch or how many pitches he's going to throw or what he's going to give us, I think he's somebody that we need to stay away from. On the flip side, I will not be taking the Reds pitcher. Dodgers have a 5.25 run total projection. So what that tells me is they like their bats. So you could go with the Muncy, the Petersons, the Bellingers. Those are guys that I'm probably going to be putting up, in my lineup. As for the Reds bats, it's kind of hard to know what pitcher you're going to get. I mean, if you want to put Votto in there, if you want to put Scooter Gennett in there, Schebler, Suarez is always a good pick. But with a 3.75 run total, I think this is a game where I just take the Dodgers bats and move on. It's a it's a 4-game slate, right? 4-game, yeah, it looks like a 4-gamer. Houston, Detroit. This is the game everybody's gonna have. They're gonna have Garrett Cole. They're gonna have all of the Houston righties against Daniel Norris because he's awful. this is going to be the game that has the offense and the pitcher. Looks like there's some guys in the next game also, but we'll talk about that in a second. But it's going to be Houston Stack for me. It's going to be Garrett Cole, and it's going to be nobody on Detroit. Not the pitcher, not the batters, nobody. So that's kind of easy. Cleveland, Tampa, great pitching matchup. Carrasco versus Snell. This could be a 2-0 game. It could be 2-1. This is, Snell going against a really good offense like this. I think in a 4-game slate, I'd rather just pay for Cole, who has a better shot and is 4,000 less. On the flip side, if you want to take a chance on Carrasco at 10-6, you can. He's not a bad, pick against an offense that I think is bad, but definitely has been playing well lately. So I don't know. That's kind of tough. I think looking at these 4 games, for me, it's going to be Cole with some Houston offense, some Dodger offense. If I can get them in, the last game on this 4-game slate is Pittsburgh, St. Louis, Jameson Taillon versus Ponce de Leon. We all know Ponce de Leon sucks. He does. Kills us every single time we take him. He's somebody that I'm probably going to stay away from. I kind of look at the lefty bats here. Polanco, Dickerson, J. Bell. Moran at third could be a saver, for salary. On the flip side, against Jameson Taillon, if you want to take Carpenter, if you want to take Matt Adams, I don't think it's a bad pick. I think for me personally, just in this 4-game slate, I'm going to stick to the teams that I believe are going to be, have the best outcome. And Garrett Cole, I think, gives me the best chance today with, the Houston offense, Dodger offense, and the Pittsburgh offense. So that's the early slate. There's a couple games in the middle that we're not going to be touching. Looks like Mets and the Marlins, Atlanta and San Francisco. These are games we're not going to be touching at all. San Diego, Seattle is another game I don't think we're going to be touching. It's not on the slate. I'm trying to figure out my testy, see what I see here. But I do, 7 o'clock. So looks like we have to jump right into the Washington versus Philly game. Wow. Okay. Nola versus Strasburg. God, this one's tough, right? I mean, this is a tough game. This is a tough game to pick. I think, a 7-run total. So they're looking for a really low-scoring game. Both of these offenses are going to have trouble with their pitchers. So I think either pitcher would be good. I think if you really want to pick one over the other, I would probably go Strasburg at almost 2,000 less than Nola. That's just my opinion on that. I probably go Strasburg more than I would Nola, although I probably will have Nola tonight. Bats, if you want to do it, you throw the lefties in, the Santanas, Herrera, Harper, Soto. These are the guys that I would be looking at. That's a tough game, but I think we go Strasburg due to the 2,000 salary less. and that we could probably get some bats in and against the Philly offense that's struggling. And coming off of a doubleheader yesterday. So, oh, well, Washington's coming off a doubleheader also. That was pretty retarded. Okay. Sorry, it's still only 9:40 in the morning. Toronto, Boston. Boston, what a letdown yesterday, huh? I mean, Baraki is that good? I mean, every time I pick him, I feel like he gets rocked. Against Boston yesterday, did he even shut them out? What was the end result in that game? I think they ended up, maybe I saw them scoring some late runs. Maybe it was 5-2. 5-2 final. Checking it out right now. Boston 7-2 final, but they didn't score their runs until the 7th inning. So, it was a shutout. I expected Boston to be chalk today at 5.61 run total. I expect them to be, get your bets in, get your JD Martinez, get your Benintendi's, get your Bogarts, get your Devers, get them in the lineup because, Moreland, because they're going to be chalk tonight. Price is going to be big. I think against a lefty Toronto team. It's going to be It's going to be the Boston Tea Party. Ha! That was funny. All right. I got lots of jokes today. It looks like Miami and the Mets are playing a doubleheader today. All right. Second game of the doubleheader is Vargas versus Richards. Conforto's been hot. He's somebody that I think I want to get in my lineup, although Richards is not a bad pitcher, but he's somebody that I want to get in my lineup. Vargas, I mean, he's got a 226. He's minus 226. And Miami only has a 2.91 run total projection. That is like, wow. So what they're trying to tell us is take Vargas and then take some of the Mets bats, lefties. That's tough. That's tough. I think I'm going to go with the Mets and see what the lineup plays out. I got to wait for that. Chase Anderson versus Hendricks, Milwaukee, Chicago. I feel like these guys pitch every game. I think I'm very into Rizzo, Schwarber, Daniel Murphy. Those are the guys I'm into. Bryant. As for Milwaukee, I think Hendricks could shut them down. I think they're coming off of, let's see, did they play yesterday? Yeah, they got shut out yesterday by, let's find out who they got shut out by. Quintana. They got shut out by Quintana. Now they get Hendricks. They are a lefty team, though, so it's kind of like, Shaw, Moustakas, Yelich, they start hitting, that could be scary. So I think those are guys you can look at. Again, I think I'm more Cubs than I am Milwaukee today. It's a hard day. I do not like what I see so far in these games. Yanks, Minnesota, Severino versus Odorizzi. This is going to be Severino. It's going to be Didi. It's going to be Stanton. It's going to be Sanchez has been hitting. Torres. Those are the guys that I'm probably going to have in my lineup. Gardner. I will not have any Minnesota guys. Although they are really lefty heavy against Severino, and they just scored. They beat us they beat us 10-5 yesterday. I think we go with the chalk. I think we go with the high priced pitcher. and Severino, and there's not very much else pitching, on this slate that I've seen so far besides Price, and if you want to do Strasburg, Nola, the late games definitely don't have anything that I really like, but definitely no Minnesota, definitely Yankees. Chicago and the Royals. Rendon versus Coughlin. If you like the righties on Chicago, I get it. They got Moncada, Abreu, Garcia, Davidson. I think these are the guys that I would take. Anderson could be a good little pick at shortstop if you need, savings. As for the Royals, I kind of like Rendon. So, if you want to take the Royals, you can go with the Merrifield. But I'm kind of a White Sox guy today. I think Rendon at 8-6 could be a good little pick against the Royals, who they do hit. The Royals have some decent play. I mean, Mondesi has been doing real well, but they're they got Dozier. They seem like they're more lefties. So Rendon could probably shut them down. I think I'm going to stick with my gut and go Rendon here, and not take any of the Royals. Coors game, Arizona versus Colorado. Two really good pitchers here. I don't know how this is a 10-run total, 10 over under. If I was a betting man, like sports betting, which I am, I just haven't. I would take the under here. I'm looking at like a 3-1 game, maybe 3-2. I like Corbin a lot today against the Rockies, although the Rockies are right-handed heavy, so they could touch him up. John Gray's always brings something to the table. So at home against the only guy I'm really worried about in this lineup for Arizona against Gray, is Peralta and Goldschmidt, obviously. Otherwise, I'm not really scared of this lineup. Marte was hitting yesterday, I saw, so he might be somebody you want to take a look at. But I'm looking at this as a pitching matchup, and not very many offenses in this game. I'm not touching it. If you want to go for it, feel free. I mean, Colorado has a 5.06 run total projection against Colorado. I don't see it. I just don't. Arizona with a 4.94. Again, I'm thinking 3-2 here. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at for that game. Corbin, I like him a little bit more than I do Gray. But last game on the slate, Felix Pena versus Gallardo. Everybody and their mother is going to be on the Angels. Gallardo stinks. The Angels have a 5.10 projected run total. Calhoun, Trout, Ohtani, Upton. I'm not telling you guys anybody different than than what everybody else is going to say. Felix Pena, on the other hand, is the pitcher going against Texas. He hasn't been bad. I just don't know that he's been good. I mean, let me bring up some stats real quick and see what he's looking like today. And what he's done in his last couple games, because I'm not really thinking he's gonna make the diff. I mean, is he gonna shut down the Texas lefties? Do I want to pay for that? Let's see. All right. Well, you know, he had 43 points. These are all FanDuel points. 43 against the White Sox, 31 against Houston, 28 against Houston, 42 against Arizona, 43 against San Diego, 20 against Oakland. I guess if you want, you could say he's hot. He's given up 2 runs, 1 run, 3 runs, and 4 runs, and 0 runs in his last 4 games. So, at 7-1, he's a good value. If you want to throw him in there against Texas and try to build your 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 bats with Boston and the Yanks, I get it. That's probably what I'm going to do as well. That's kind of it for baseball today. There's not really much of a rundown, of what I like. I mean, I'm going to go a little bit quick on NFL because I have to, since I'm on the radio tonight, I got to figure this stuff out. I got to come correct with some lineups and make sure that, I know what I'm talking about. People are going to want to watch, hopefully they'll want me back. Guys, I'm just going on the radio tonight to hopefully just enjoy myself, talk about sports, which I love to talk about, and see what happens. Let's go through a quick rundown of these games this week. The Thursday game, tomorrow's game is Baltimore-Cincy. Baltimore coming off of a big win. Cincinnati coming off of a big win. I kind of, I really like Cincy. Dalton's low. AJ Green. These are the guys that I really like. Obviously, I'm not telling anybody anything different, than what, everybody else talks about. Baltimore, Flacco had a good game last game. It's kind of a blowout against a bad team, against a bad Buffalo team. Alex Collins could have more of a run this week. But, Crabtree had a big game last week. But I think I'm going to stick with Cincy and run with it there. 44 total, not that bad. The Sunday games, Philly, Tampa. Do we expect the same from Fitzpatrick this week? No, not against the Phillies offense. Obviously, we're going to flip it around. Hopefully Foles, got some kinks out. Can throw downfield, but this is probably a stay away game for me. I don't like. I mean, Aguilar does catch the ball, but they don't throw it deep, so I'm not really going to be touching it. Again, I think this is a stay away game for me. I'm not even going to even think about it. Houston, Tennessee, I think is the game for me. For me personally, not on the Tennessee side, but on the Houston side. I love Hopkins, and Watson this week. Love them. I think that, we saw what Miami did to Tennessee last week. I think Houston's just going to do the same, if not more. I'll be interested to see if Fuller comes back this week. And I'm not really big on their running. Yes, Lamar Miller, but I'm not really big on him. I don't know. I think it's probably more value out there than him. Washington, Indy. Love Alex Smith against a crappy Colts team. Love Adrian Peterson. Love him. He's at 6.7 still. The Duke had 23 rushing attempts for 93 yards and a touchdown. They are going to him. So why not? The Colts stink. Take Peterson. We're going to fade David Johnson this week, and that's who I'll get to him later against the Rams. But Peterson is where you want to be. That's exactly what I'm doing. Alex Smith, Peterson, and their wide receivers are so sketchy. I mean, Crowder, Richardson, Doxson. I don't know. I don't know. It's gonna be hard. I'll figure that out later. Um, Minnesota, Green Bay. This is all going to be on Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, they're talking about him sitting against the Minnesota defense. That might be a good idea. I like Cousins a lot. I like Diggs and Thielen. Dalvin Cook could have a great game this week against a Green Bay team that I don't think has a very good defense. On the flip side, everything depends on Rodgers. I really like Minnesota's defense, though. If Rodgers doesn't play, it's not a hot take. Everybody's going to like him. Cleveland, the Saints, a 50 over-under, with the Saints at -9. Everybody's going to love them. Breeze, Kamara, Michael Thomas, Ted Ginn Jr. at 6'8". We saw that Breeze looks for him. So why not? Cleveland's defense isn't the best. So, they got a big, on the flip side, we saw what Tampa did to the Saints. Go with Hyde. Go with Landry. These are guys that you want in your lineup because they're going to score. Cleveland's going to score. They're going to make adjustments. Tyrod Taylor's going to be all right. But go Hyde. Go Landry. Josh Gordon caught one last week. He's somebody who I like. Kansas City, Pittsburgh. I think we heard about Ben Roethlisberger having an injury. So it's somebody that we basically have to watch. If that happens, obviously the Connor at 7 is going to be, a player that everybody picks this week because of 2 touchdowns last week. Kansas City has a decent defense, so somebody that I have to really look into. As the wide receivers with Brown and Schuster, if no Ben Roethlisberger, and they got to put in, oh my goodness, their backup. Who was he? He was a scrub. I can't think of him right now, but obviously he's not that important. On the flip side, a 53 total. Mahomes is it. We saw what he does last week. He loves Tyreek Hill, so Tyreek's going to be huge this week again, I'm sure. I'd like to see Kareem Hunt get some reps, but I don't know if that's going to happen. This game's a little tricky, For a high total, there's so many question marks in this game, like on who do you take. Kelsey didn't do very well last week. So that's also a game I'm really going to have to, take a deeper look into. Jets versus the Dolphins. I think Darnold's a steal, obviously, at 6'6". He loves, Robbie Anderson. He loves Quincy Enunwa. Those are guys that you can take. On the flip side, the Jets defense looked really good last week. I hate Miami. I'm a Jet fan, so I'm supposed to. So I probably will not have anybody, but if you wanted to, you can take Drake, but I think the Jets are going to shut him down. You can take Parker and Stills, but I think the Jets are going to shut him down. So I'm Darnold, Crowell, and Anderson and Quincy. Let's do a couple quick ones. Carolina, Atlanta, usual suspects. Atlanta's defense isn't very good. You could take Cam, you could take McCaffrey, you could take Funchess, but I think I'm more McCaffrey than I am anything. Newton doesn't go down the field, so I don't know. On the flip side, Carolina's defense isn't the best. If you want to take Ryan and Julio Jones and Sanu, the two-headed monster of Freeman and Tevin Coleman, it's very tough to get that right. A lot of times you take Freeman and Coleman scores like you did last week. or you take Tevin Coleman and Devontae Freeman scores, which you just don't know. Chargers versus also, and remember weather this week because of the whatever weather we have to look at with these games. Chargers Buffalo, it's not very difficult here. Phillip Rivers, Keenan Allen, Melvin Gordon. Stop. They're a huge favorite. Buffalo sucks. Peterman's garbage. They could stop McCoy on defense because we don't care who they have to throw to on offense. Rivers, Gordon, Allen. Stop. See this game. Arizona Rams, Bradford looked like garbage last week. I will not take David Johnson this week. I think the Rams are going to shut him down. Their defense is just too good. I don't care about the wide receivers on Arizona. They're awful. If you want to take the Rams, we go with Golf, Gurley, and Cooks, and Cole. Those are the four that I'm taking. If you want to throw Robert Woods in there, you can, but it's Gurley, Cooks, and Kupp for me. Detroit, San Francisco. Stafford's obviously going to want to throw here because he looked like garbage against the Jets. So Tate, Marvin Jones are going to get a lot of looks. I hate their runners. Although Johnson wasn't the worst. On the flip side, Detroit's defense isn't bad, so Garoppolo could have a good matchup with I have to check Marcus Goodwin, but I think he got hurt last week, so I have to look at that. He loves Kittle, the tight end, so it's somebody that you might want to look at. I don't like their running backs at all. But a 48 total tells me a lot. Oakland versus Denver. Denver's got a decent defense. Obviously Oakland's gonna make some adjustments. Carr's gonna be throwing, hopefully to Cooper or to Jordy Nelson. I know they just signed Martavius Bryant back, so we have to check to see what his status is gonna be. He loves Cook, at the tight end position, and at what is he at 5K? Why not? On the flip side, Casey Keenum, I don't really like Casey Keenum. I do like Emmanuel Sanders. I do like Demaryius Thomas. Royce Freeman could be good if I just feel like there's too many running backs there. Although I don't know. Let me see what did he do last week? Did he do anything that was impressive? I mean, Freeman and Lindsey both had 15 attempts for 71 yards. I mean, it's like a two-headed monster. So, I don't know. You can if you want. He basically Keenum threw for 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and 135 yards, Emmanuel Sanders caught. So, Keenum might not be a bad choice after all. New England, Jacksonville. Jacksonville has a really good defense. I think I'm going to fade New England this week. There's a lot of weather. Brady's not going to be able to throw that much. I'm not afraid of any of the New England running backs. So this game could just be a fade for me because I don't like Fournette's hurt. We all know it. Blake Bortles sucks. And the wide receivers in Jacksonville are just not going to get the ball the way that we want them to get the ball in fantasy. So I think New England and Jacksonville could be a good fade game. The Sunday night game. Is it the Sunday night game? Yeah, Sunday night game is Giants versus Dallas. This is going to be Manning, Barkley, Beckham. Don't overthink it. Just do it. On the flip side, if you want to take Elliott, I got no problem with him. Although I think the Giants are going to be king on the run because their wide receivers are garbage. Dallas, I don't think, let's see, last week, Beasley had 7 catches. You sign Hearn and you throw to him one time. Like, I just don't get it. Like, why? Why are we doing this? Um, Seattle, Chicago, you know, Chicago coming off of they were up 20-3, lost 24-23, 24-23. Seattle's not the worst. I think if anything here, I'll probably go Russell Wilson and Lockett. Um, I don't really like. I'm trying to let me look at to see. Carson 7 carries, 51 yards. Their wide receivers they threw to Disley. Disley? Will Disley. Okay, he's their tight end. 3 catches, 105 yards. He had 5. He looked at him 5 times. I don't know. I feel like Seattle is just up in the air. Chicago. We all know what Chicago did last week. Howard had 15 carries for 82 yards. Their wide receivers were garbage. I don't know. This is a tough game. I think we just basically, I think you stick with Seattle and just go from there. Take Wilson, Carson, Lockett, Disley. But that's it for NFL. Been here a while. Hope you guys listen to me tonight on the radio. Hope I don't choke. I appreciate it. And thanks to all the fanatics that listened and came through. Talk to you guys later.